Welcome back to Don Day Speaks podcast. We're glad you're here. People have been asking me, how can they find the podcast? You can do it through Apple and Spotify, but an easier way is just to go to my website at www.dondayspeaks.com, and you can get the website information there. You can get podcast, books, you name it. It's YouTube, anything you want's on there about Don Day Speaks is on there. My schedule, how do you get in contact with me and reach out to us? And we'd love to hear from you. Today, we got another good one. It's rules to live by. Rules to live by. Nobody likes rules, but what I've discovered is if you don't have some rules, then you're kind of just floundering around, not really knowing which direction you're going. So we all need rules, and they're bendable, but we need rules. So the following 25 rules are something to live by, something to go by. I've learned over my lifetime that many of these self-explanatory, and some of them need a little explanation, but they're all effective. So I'm going to hit them with you. And I hope that you've got something to write with, that you can jot down some notes, because that's the way you win. You got to be present to win. And I want you to take good notes so you can use this stuff later. Number one, easy one. Jesus is Lord. You may not believe that. You may not believe that yet, but I do believe it. He's proven it to me over and over again. He is Lord. It's something I've learned, and I don't doubt. It's about a relationship, not a religion. He's first in my life, and it works out best for me when I put him there. Number two, in a negotiation, never make the first offer. People say, well, how do you know that? Well, I've done over 4,000 real estate transactions in the last 30 years. I've negotiated over and over again in my entire life. And I realized that the guy that makes the first offer is usually the one that's in the diminished position. He's a little in a minority position. So never make the very first offer. Let somebody else do that. Put you in the best position. Number three, when shaking hands, grip firmly and don't compromise. Look them straight in the eye. I'm trying to teach my grandsons how to shake hands and how to introduce themselves. I don't allow anybody to say that they're shy. So my grandkids, when they try to hide behind their mom's legs, or they try to hide behind their dad, or they hide their face, so they look down at the ground, I tell them, you're not shy. You're outgoing. You want to ask questions. You want to introduce yourself to people. You want to shake hands, and you want to do these following things. And I show them how to do it. So I'm teaching my grandkids, but I understand there's some grown people that don't know how to do it. So I think that that's an important thing. When you're shaking hands, grip firmly, look them in the eye, just do it. Just stand up straight and do it. Number four, hold your heroes to a higher standard. Don't compromise. Sometimes we give a little extra grace to people that we look up to, but you're looking up to them for a reason. Don't compromise on that. Hold them to accountable. Hold them to a higher standard. It will do good for them, and it'll do good for you. Number five, never shake a man's hand sitting down. And when I say man, I mean man, woman, child, anybody. Don't shake anybody's hand sitting down. Stand up. Show them. If you're physically able, get up. If they're sitting down, pull them up. It goes better with you when you're standing up. It just shows respect, and you introduce yourself to someone, or you're being introduced to someone. Number six, don't let a wishbone grow where your backbone should be. I'm going to get some heat from this. I already know going into it, but if I don't do it now, when will I do it? I'm wondering, where are all the men? Where are all the men? There's some craziness going on in our country, and there's no men standing up. They're waiting for somebody else to take a stand. Well, today's your turn. If not now, when? Don't let your wishbone grow where your backbone used to be. There's some things in life that are non-negotiable. And I'll get more into that as we get into some of these things this year, but I'm going to take some stands. And if I lose some friends, I lose some friends. If I lose some fans, I lose some fans. But I gotta be biblically correct and stop being politically correct. And that's gonna push some people a little bit to one side or the other. And that's okay. Number seven, think of others before yourself. Write these letters down. MTFI. MTFI. When you're talking to somebody, make them feel important. Rate them as a 10. Shake their hand, look them in the eye, make them feel important. Ask about them. Let them tell you about them. It will go better for you. It will come back around to you. Don't worry. You're not going to lose the platform. Number 8, you get what you give. Give generously. I don't know how this works. I don't have an answer for you how to do it. I just know that when you give, it starts the getting. And we don't give to get, but it happens anyway. It's just part of the international law. I don't know how it works, but I know it works. I've proven it over 62 years. Be more generous than you've ever been this year. If you can give your talent, time, and resources, do it. Don't wonder about what the other side's going to look like. Just do you and be as generous as you can. Number 9, I went to a funeral yesterday. It's a great celebration of life, wonderful things said about a person. And it got me thinking that we should all write our own eulogy and never stop revising it. What do you want to hear people say about you and your family and your legacy when you're no longer here? How do you want people to react to you when you're no longer here? What do you want people to say about you and how they came in contact with you and what you did in their lives when you're gone? Write your own eulogy and never stop revising it. Number 10, act like you've been here before, especially in a win. I just put just do it next to that. People go crazy when they get advantage and they win. I'm watching a lot of sports these days, and man, people don't know how to act like they've been there before, like they're expected to win. They act shocked when they do win. Number 11, really big one. When entrusted with the secret, keep it. If somebody says, "Hey, I wanted to tell you something," if you the next thing you say to somebody down the road is, "Hey, I'm not supposed to say anything," but you just lost a lot of trust. It's harder to get trust back, and it's hard to even keep it to begin with. So if somebody trusts you with a secret, keep it. Number 12, in all critical situations, make like a duck. Now, this is nothing new. This isn't mine. I've heard this over and over. Be calm on the top and be paddling like a duck, like crazy on the below the surface. Here's what I know. When something critical hits you, you don't have to answer right now. Take a few moments, collect your thoughts. Don't let them see you sweat. And just when you respond with something that you really want to say calmly. It'll grow great respect for you in the future. Number 13, build relationships every day. Look, at the end of this time that we're here on this earth, the only thing that really is going to matter was our relationships. People get in business, they get in real estate, and they say, what's the number one thing I need to work on? Relationships. Relationships is what business are built off. Number 14, work harder on yourself than anything else in your life. I didn't learn this 100% until later in life. Now I know you can't give away something you don't have. Learn and train every week. Read more books. Gain knowledge. Go through videos, podcasts, just anything you can do. Go to seminars. Once you have knowledge, take action and share it. Work harder on yourself than you do anything else. You'll bring more market value to the marketplace when you do this, and you can add value to others the same way. You can't give away what you don't have. Number 16. Let me take that back. I skipped one. Number 15, never turn down a breath mint. Enough said. Number 16, have coffee with a new person every week. The only agenda I have when I have coffee with people is building better relationships. I try to have 3 coffee meetings a week, and I try to just do it so I can get to know people better. Maybe I've never known this person. I'm getting introduced to them. I'm just trying to build relationships. And the best way to do that's over a cup of coffee. And I've had people say, well, I don't really like coffee. Okay, drink water. Doesn't matter what the coffee or the beverage is, but it's nice that you get out and you meet some people and spend about 30 minutes with them, getting to know them better and make them feel important. Number 17, we could do a whole podcast on, but I'm going to just give it to you point blank. Honor your parents regardless. Honor your parents regardless. Look, I understand. I'm not living in a cave. I understand not everybody's had a storybook childhood. Not everybody comes from a perfect family. Me either. I believe you must honor your parents anyway. I'm not asking you to line up for more disappointment, more abuse, or for just forgiveness and honor. I'm asking you to forgive and move on. Their DNA is what made you the person you are. You're unique, and it's because of their DNA. And maybe they weren't the best parents, or maybe they were. Honor them no matter what. You don't have to line up for more problems. You're special, you're creative, you're successful, and it's been from the day you were conceived. Just do you and honor your mother and father, and you will win. Number 18, give credit, take blame. Give credit, take blame. So many of us want to blame people when things don't go right, and we want to take credit when something does go right. And I'm telling you to stop blaming people, stop living in a herd mentality, to start doing the things that you want to do. If you'll be the bigger person and pass credit around and be generous with it, it's amazing how it finds its way back to you. Humble's the word you're looking for. Number 19, we're almost finished. Always protect your family and teammates. Look, other people can say things about your family and it will upset you. You can say the same thing about your family and it won't. But the problem is that we don't allow other people to talk about our families. If you're really my good friend and somebody says something that's out of character about me, I would be a little offended if you didn't stand up for me, because I would sure stand up for you. 20 years in the Air Force, I learned that there's so much importance in giving your life for somebody else. And we do it all the time. You would give your life for one of your children, for your spouse. It shouldn't be any different for you and your friends. You should stand up for them and take care of them. It's all about relationships. Number 20, be confident and humble at the same time. This requires training, not just trying. You got to be confident, but there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. So you got to find a way to be humble and have humility. It's really it's a lost art form in our world today. Number 21, write down your dreams and goals. I've been told this and I've defined it, and it's worked in my own life. You're 42% chance of exceeding or crushing your goals when they're written down than if they're not. 42%. Those are great odds. That's a good chunk. Write them down. What's it going to hurt? I always say, don't just think it, ink it. Number 22, when in doubt, just take the next step. Look, you want to know the entire path. You want to know that there's going to be some things that are overwhelming and you'll freeze in some situations, but you want to know the entire path. You don't ever get the entire layout. You don't have the navigation to know which way you're going to go next. You just know the next step. So always take that first step. Enough said. Number 23. Don, you say this on almost every podcast. I know, because it's important. Save money. Yeah, I'm serious. Save money. Money is a tool. It's a resource. It's not the love of money, but the lust of money. It's not any of those things. It's using it wisely. Doesn't matter how much money you make, it saves some. Opportunities are around and they are abound when you aren't in debt. You can think straighter when you're not in debt. It relieves a lot of stress when you're not in debt. Save some money. Look, if you had a $50,000 in the bank and you had to buy an air conditioning unit for $5,000, it's not happy. It's a punch in the gut and you don't want to do it, but it's not an emergency. But if you've only got $3,000 in the bank and you got to buy a $5,000 heating and air unit, it's an emergency. And you're going to get yourself further in debt. So save some money. Number 24, we're almost done. We got 25 of them. The best deal you can get is one you can walk away from. And we're back to negotiations again. Don't ever get so tied up and so desired of something that you really want that you're willing to do something crazy for it. Never get in a position where your desires exceed your needs. You lose your leverage. Do what you do to do the best you can do. Patience required to do this, but do the best you can do. But never get in a position where you can't walk away from a negotiation. Walking away gives a lot of good balance. It puts you in a majority position instead of minority position. Number 25, make sure everyone you know that you know loves that make sure everyone that you know knows that you love them. There's only one way to do that, is to tell them, to show them. I make men uncomfortable a lot of times when I'm talking to them on the phone, or I see them out and we get ready to break company and leave. I'll tell them I love them, if I really do, and I do most of them. You see, people need to be loved. They need to know that you care. So let me give you a dig deep. If I was you, I would read this list. I would listen to it again and listen to it again. I would write it down. I would allow it to penetrate your mind. Take a few days and decide on which of the rules that you need most attention in. I mean, nobody's perfect. These are 25 things that help you to live a strong life, but not everybody's doing them perfectly. Me neither. But then you can put some reps in and start training to apply it to your life. Master this one and then attack the next one. It won't be long till your life conditions will change. You'll be living an entirely different life this time next year. Look, this time next year is coming. You might as well make it for the best. You might as well make the changes. I'm Don Day with Don Day Speaks, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Rules to live by. I'm ready whenever you are. Welcome back to Don Day Speaks podcast. We're glad you're here. We have got a really powerful one for you today. People ask me all the time, how do I find your podcast? Well, you do it on Apple or Spotify, but you can do it at my website at dondayspeaks.com. Dondayspeaks.com. You can watch YouTube videos, get my books. You can book me. You can contact me. And most importantly, you can get with Live, Grow, and Do's podcast. So today I'm going to try to go through 7 quick things with you. 7 secrets to a great life. I want you to do me a favor. I want you on a sheet of paper to write down the following letters and one below the next. SECRETS. Secrets. Because we're going to try to give you 7 quick keys to a great life. Who doesn't want a great life? Everybody does, but it doesn't happen by accident. A great life's the result of managing your time, your energy, your thoughts, putting in some hard work towards what you want and what you want your life to be. Your life conditions are your responsibility. Stop setting yourself up for stress and failure. Start setting up your life to support success and ease. A great life's the result of 1,440 minutes that you receive every day, being creative, being thoughtful, instead of what just comes next. See, being proactive, taking action instead of reacting. It's really important. Customize these secrets and fit them to your best of your needs and where you need them in your life. There's 7 of them, and I'm going to give them to you. I'm going to do it pretty quick. So number 1 is S, simplify. Simplify. Every year I try to clean out my desk, clean out my offices, try to get rid of stuff I don't need. It's amazing the amount of stuff we accumulate. A great life's result from simplifying your life, just simplifying, making it easier. People often misinterpret what simplify means. It's not a way to remove work from your life. It's not like you're going to get rid of all the stuff that you hate to do. You still got to do stuff you don't like. That's part of life. When you focus on simplifying your life, you're freeing up energy and time for the work that you really enjoy and the purpose for which you're really here. In order to create a great life, you will have to make room for it in your life first. Look, there's things that you're wasting time with. It's called weapons of mass distraction. There's things that are keeping you from simplifying your life. Get rid of them. And when I say them, it may be people and things. Get rid of them. If you're spending, they say now we spend 9.9 hours and 28 minutes a day in front of some kind of screen. That's too much. We need to cut that back. You can find a few free hours in there if you'll cut back the distractions that you can use to simplify your life to do the things that you really want to do and what you're really here for. Number 2, E is for effort. Great life's result of the best effort that you can do. I always ask my teammates, did you do that the best you possibly can? Did you give it your very, very, very best? Think about something you were doing yesterday, a task or whatever from yesterday. Did you do it your very, very, very best? Did you put the effort in to make it happen to the best of your abilities? And the answer for most of us is no. So today you get another shot. Reevaluate. How can you improve? What can you do? How can you save money? How can you spend your money more wisely? How can you invest your time? Your effort is important. It may look like there's new ways to do and spend energy all the time, but it's not always the best ways. You need to evaluate and figure out the effort that you're going to use and let us see, make sure it's going to work for you and the best in your life. E is for effort. You know, all we can control in our lives is our effort and our attitude. Everything else is kind of out of our control. We try to control a lot of stuff, but those are the 2 things that we can really control. Number 3, C, create priorities. I have people tell me, I got a priorities list and there's 30 things on it. That's a list. That's not priorities. Priority means it's the top 1 or 2 things that you got to get done. When I leave my house, I leave with 2 things that I must get done today. See, we'll get our must. We won't always get what we want or what we need or what we should, but we'll get our must. We must have this. We must have that. We'll get that. A great life's result of creating priorities, knowing what you really, really want, and making sure you really get it. It's easy to spend your days just reacting and floating around and responding to the next big thing that grabs your attention, to get distracted, to allow people to distract you, or whatever the case may be. It's easy to do that. But when you start creating priorities, you start putting your energy, time, and money toward the things that you really, really need and want, the things that you must. Number 4, reserves. A great life is when you've got reserves, when you've got some extra money, when you got 6 months of living expenses, when you got your bills paid off, when you free up maybe an hour or two of free time that you can do something that's really productive for your life. That's reserves. When you've got it, reserves are important because they relieve and remove a lot of fear. Money can make you feel more independent, more confident. You can help more, be more, do more, serve more when you have more reserves. You can't give away what you don't have. Number 5, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but it's E, and it stands for eliminate distractions. I want to talk about it again because we are so distracted. I say it a lot in my groups. We're the most distracted generation in the history of the world. Up to 75% of our mental energy can be tied up in things that are just draining us and distracting us and emptying our tank. You got to learn how to eliminate distractions. They say it takes 2 seconds to hear a distraction. It takes 20 seconds to get back to where you were focused before, if you get back at all. Distractions can lead you toward a rabbit hole. And we've got so many things pulling at us now, and we can never get away from our devices. We can never get away from our text, our emails, our phone calls, our Facebook messages, Instagram. You just travel down one different alley to another. Distractions. We got to eliminate them. It will free up energy that you can do the things you really need and want to do if you get rid of distractions. And we'll do a podcast on distractions and how we get rid of them soon. Number 6, your thoughts. Everything in this world began with a single thought. The thought, it comes from your mind. It's a battlefield. We are what we think about the most. Our reality is from what we think about. And the more we think about it, the more we try to focus on it. And the more we focus on it, the more action and energy happens. And that's what takes us down a good path or a bad one. Your thoughts are important. Take every thought captive. Motivated people have specific goals and they think about it all the time, and it's in writing and they see it, and they become what they think about. And it's the same thing for unsuccessful people. They go first one thought, then another, then down this way, and this would be cool. And what if I did that? And what I'd really like to do this. I wish I had some money I could do this with, and just wasting the 1,440 minutes we get a day. There's a solution to your problems. You just have to think about it. Warren Buffett said something really important. He said the number one problem with the world today is that we have lost or we are losing the ability and the art of thinking. This year is going to come and go. The problem is, are you going to be in control of your life, control of your thoughts, control of your energy? Are you going to eliminate distractions? Are you going to have these 7 secrets to success or not? Number 7, the last one, start. S is for start. A great life that has everything has a start. There's a genesis for everything. A great life of 1,000,000 miles starts with first step, 1 foot in front of the other. When I coached, I was a Nike coach for years, about 7 years. When I coached them, I never talked about 26.2 miles. I was a marathon coach. I just talked about running from here to that mailbox. Can you do it? Yes. Run from the mailbox to that White House. Can you do it? Yes. Run from the White House to the red truck. Can you do it? Yes. The truck starts up and leaves. Can you follow that truck? I don't know. But we never talked about 26.2 miles. I didn't let them put the sticker on their cars, on their trucks. We just wanted to stay focused. Our thoughts were important. We wanted to think about what's next and 1 foot in front of the other. That was the plan. 1 foot in front of the other till we crossed the finish line together. And we did. Everybody I coached finished the marathon and started it. There's no better time to get started than today. Today's the day you can start. You can say that on this date, January 31st, I started what I was always going to do, procrastinated, keep from doing. I started today. Today is right now. It's the right day to start. It's the right day to take the next step. It's the right day to take the next step towards the direction of your heart's desire. It's the right day to try to find out the start and the next step for your goal. It's the right day and right place to start. It's today. Don't put off to tomorrow what you can start today. Today's the day. So I don't know what it is that you want to do, that you need to do, that you're thinking about doing, or you put off doing, but today would be a great day to start. I'm Don Day with Don Day Speaks. We hope to see you again real soon. 7 Secrets to a Great Life. Ready? This is Don Day with Don Day Speaks. We're glad you're here. This is Don Day with Don Day Speaks. We're glad you're here. People ask me all the time, how do I find your podcast? Well, it's real simple. Apple or Spotify is easy to find it. Or you can go to my website, dondayspeaks.com, dondayspeaks.com, and you can find everything on the website, the podcast, books, YouTube videos, information on how to get a hold of me, my schedule, just lots of things on there that you can visit us. We'd encourage you to visit us. So today I'm going to try to give you 15 things. I'm in this mood now in January to 7 keys and 12 of this and 22s of those. I feel like John Maxwell, 15 things highly confident people don't do. I always tell you things that you should do. Here's things that they don't do. And if you're doing some of these, stop, quit. 15 things. Ready? They don't make excuses. Highly confident, highly successful, highly effective people do not make excuses. When I was first in the Air Force, they told me that there's only one right answer. And that right answer is no excuse, sir. No matter what you find or they ask you, the answer is no excuse, sir. And you learn it real quick. There's just no excuse. I think so many times we make excuses for ourselves. We accept excuses from others. You know, I'm sorry. People aren't really sorry. The service is not good. They say they're sorry. They make excuses for one another. I think in 2022, we need to either decide we're not going to make any excuses. We're not going to accept any excuses. Highly confident people do not make excuses. They don't show up late. They don't make excuses. Number 2, they don't try to avoid the scary things. There's a lot of scary things in our life. They step into it. Highly confident people don't let fear dominate their lives. They know that the things that they're afraid of or doing are often the same things that they need to be doing in order to evolve as a person, to grow as a person. The things that are holding them back, they know it's fear, but yet they would never let themselves fall to a victim of fear. They just do the scary thing. They don't allow it to hold them back. Number 3, they don't live in a bubble of comfort. I mean, that's a key to it. We try to make ourselves as comfortable as we possibly can, and that's okay to a certain point. But highly effective people get out of their comfort zone. They live more in the uncomfort zone than they do the comfort zone. Well, I don't like that. I know that's why you're not growing. But I like it easy. I don't want to be scared. I know that's why you're not growing. Point well taken. Noted. But it's still not the situation. You've got to live in that uncomfortable zone. So there's a gap there between where you want to be and where you are, and you got to get out into that gap a little bit. Number 4, they don't put things off till next week. Some people are experts at procrastinating. Some people are always getting ready to get ready to do something. Some people are always fixing to. In the South, we say fixing to. I'm fixing to do. I've got an event coming up, and the title's called Come January. Come January, we're always going to do some big thing, big, bold thing. And in February, March, April, May, we start realizing that deal's already blown up. We don't put off till next week for what we can do today. Number 5, they don't obsess over the opinions of others. I put it this way: what other people think about you is none of your business. Don't obsess. People aren't thinking about you as much as you think they are. They've got their own problems. And we're trying to impress people that we really don't even like. We spend money on stuff that we really don't even like. We're trying to impress people because we think that they're thinking about us. And really the truth about it is they're not thinking about us that much. Don't get caught up in the negative opinions of other people. Don't let things drag you down. Control your thoughts. Be careful what you allow into your brain, into your mind. 2022 is your year. Number 6, they don't judge people. Highly confident, highly effective, highly successful people just don't judge people. You don't know what other people are going through. What it looks like the same thing on the outside. Look, I can't tell what's going on in the world anymore anyway. There's so many filters now on Facebook and Instagram and these different social media platforms. I can't tell when somebody's 22 or 222. I can't tell when somebody's got wrinkles or don't have wrinkles. I can't tell anything. They put so many filters or so many falsehoods up the facade of their lives. I don't have time to figure it out. I just know that I got to do me and I got to worry about me. I don't judge other people. Whatever they decide to do in their own lives is up to them. It's a free country. Number 7, highly confident, highly successful people. They don't let lack of resources stop them. Here's what I've learned. I'm going to give it to you real fast. It's not about resources. It's about resourcefulness. It's not about whether you have the money. When I have the money, I'm going to do B. When Janie gets out of high school, I'm going to do C. When I finally get that job promotion, I'm going to do that's just procrastination. That keeps you from being highly confident, highly successful. The answer is that your resourcefulness is more important than resources. Shoestring budget, ever heard of it? I've started a lot of companies on little or no money, just taking it a day at a time. You know people too that have started with nothing and amassed amounts that we can't even fathom because they used grit and heart and stuck to it and made a plan and took action and learned and took action, and it makes a difference. Resources are important, but they're not the end all. Number 8, highly successful and confident people don't make comparisons with themselves with other people. Again, we don't know the other person. I had some guy gave me a comment one time. I've heard it for years now, but the first time I heard it, it really stuck with me. He said, "See that guy over there? He's all hat and no cattle." In other words, what he was saying was everything he's got on. Everything he's got, he's already wearing. He's all hat and he's no cattle. Number 9, highly confident people, highly successful people, they don't find joy in people pleasing. Look, I want to make everybody happy. I want everybody to have what they want. I'm happy for people when they're successful, but I can't be a people pleaser. I can't be all things to all people. That's a losing proposition when you think that you can do all things for all people. Highly successful people, they don't need constant reassurance. You ever been around people where you got to constantly build them up? I'm not talking about some people that get depressed or discouraged every once in a while, or something bad happens, or a bad turn happens, or they have a loss of a loved one, or their business, it takes a big hiccup or hits a bump in the road. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about people that they've got to be reassured all the time. They're constantly in a battle with trying to reassure themselves. And they want you to do the same thing. It just gets old. Highly successful people don't need reassurance. They let their action take action. Number 11, they don't avoid life's inconvenient obstacles. Look, here's what I know. The more you try to generate, the more you try to percolate, the more you try to do and accomplish, you're going to have obstacles just simply by doing it. You put a garden out, you're going to have weeds. Anybody that ever started something didn't realize they were going to have so many challenges. If you knew, you may not start it. But that's the whole benefit of being a confident, successful person. They don't allow those obstacles to slow them down, or for sure not to stop them. It may slow them down for now and then, but it's not going to stop them. They're going to keep coming back, and it's called endurance and perseverance. If you really want something, you got to go get it. And it may take weeks or days or months, could take years, but it's one step at a time. It's one move at a time. Number 12, they don't quit because of minor setbacks. Look, there's no real excuse for failure, because it just means you just get back up. The only time you fail is when you quit. And I can tell you, when you know you're getting ready to quit, is when you start neglecting. Neglect is the first step to quitting. If you find yourself neglecting something that you know you should be doing, you're on the path to quitting. That's failure. Other than that, it's just another try. It's just another try. It's just another try. You just keep trying. You get back up. You go down. You get back up. They don't allow minor setbacks to hold them back, to stop. Number 13, highly successful people, highly confident people, they don't require anyone's permission to act. Look, if you're waiting around for Judy to say it's okay, or for your spouse to think it's the best thing for you, or people they have their own attitudes and own ideas. I'm not saying they're right or they're wrong. I'm just saying that it's not for you. You got to make your mind up and you got to move forward. You know what you've got deep inside of you. You know what's created inside of you. You know what's percolating inside of you. You're the one that has to make the move. You got to do this stuff. You're not going to depend upon them to do anything and be ambitious in anything, because it's all about you at this point, not waiting for permission for somebody else to tell you that it's okay to go ahead and move forward, because people won't move. They won't tell you to go ahead. They'll tell you to not do it. Don't do it. Oh, that's too risky. I wouldn't try that. If you've calculated, you know that you're supposed to be doing it, do it. Number 14, they don't limit themselves to a small toolbox. This is where you keep working on yourself harder than you work on anything else in your life. You add more tools to your toolbox to make things and obstacles go away, to make the life easier. You keep learning, you keep growing. It's so important nowadays that we have to depend upon one person ourselves. You may have other support staff that's helping you and encouraging you, but you've got to have the tools to do it yourself. And the only way you're going to do it is by doing it. Listen to podcasts, go to YouTube videos, go to seminars, read books. I try to read 50 books a year. I've read as many as 63. Last year I was at 51. I'm going to hopefully get to be at 55 this year. I learn every time I read, and I want to read a lot of stuff, and I want to learn a lot of stuff so I can help others and add value to my life. Number 15, and the final one, they don't blindly accept what they read on the internet as truth without thinking about it. Here we are at that think thing again. Ready? Dan Cathy, the guy that owns and started Chick-fil-A, says that 1 hour a week, the most important thing he does for himself and his company is to get in a conference room with a pad of paper and ink pen, and that's it. No device, no phones, no computers, no interruptions, no distractions. Him, paper, and pen. That's it. And he lets every thought that he thinks of, he puts it in writing. And then he goes through maybe 50 or 100 thoughts in an hour. And he picks out the one thought that he thinks makes the most sense or sounds the most interesting for himself or his company. And he brings a staff around and they all work on that one priority. And that's what makes Chick-fil-A Chick-fil-A. But the ability to think is so important. And we're so reactive now. We're so reactive. We're allowing these weapons of mass distraction to keep us in a reactive mode, autopilot, that we're allowing our lives to be changed because we're not thinking. I can give you any thoughts today, I would think that you would want to spend some time, just you and your pen and an ink pad, a pad of paper, and just think what's right and what's wrong, what's good for you, and what's good for your company, and where you want to go next. Look, I don't know what age you are. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm 62. There's a new season ahead, a new identity shift ahead, if you will allow it and you'll take the next step. I'm Don Day with Don Day Speaks. I look forward to seeing you again soon. That was 15 things highly confident people don't do. I want to do one more. Is that okay? You got time? Whenever you're ready, brother. Welcome back to Don Day Speaks podcast. We're really glad you're here. I get asked often, how do I find your podcast? Well, Apple and Spotify is two great locations. The third one would be to my website, dondayspeaks.com. Dondayspeaks.com is a good place to find my podcast, YouTube videos, books, my calendar. You can contact me there. You can go directly to me if you'll just go to dondayspeaks.com. So what are we doing today? We're doing a best life podcast. Best life. I always ask my groups a question. How many of you want to be successful? Can I see your hands? And most of the room will raise their hand. Look, I've come to the conclusion. There's some people wouldn't raise their hand no matter what. So I just say most. Most people raise their hand. How many of you expect to be successful? And most people will raise their hand. Then I ask a hard question. Why? Why do you expect it? It doesn't just happen. We should expect weather to get changed. We should expect should expect rain to come. We should expect our spouse to do certain things because we know that they're creatures of habit and the weather is going to do it over and over again. History repeats itself. But why would you be successful? Why do you expect to be successful? I mean, are you fit for the fight of 2022? Are you fit for the fight? There's a fight coming. Rest assured, there's a fight coming. Anger, disappointment, jealousy, envy, sickness, family challenges, money problems. There's a fight happening. Do you have a plan for the rest of your life? Some people don't have any plan at all. They're just kind of just floating around. They're in a canoe with no oars, no nothing. They're just going wherever the stream blows them. That's not us. If you want to be successful, you got to have a plan. And I mean, the plan's not dwelling on your problems. If dwelling on your problems doesn't fix them, just makes you an expert on your problems. And then you identify yourself as a victim. Then you play the blame card. Then you're in the herd mentality. And before you know it, here we go. If you're going to dwell on your problems, dwell on solutions and improvement. In 22, if you've got some problems, start figuring out the way to get out from underneath them. Every day you should be thinking about a solution for your problem. Most of us don't. Most of us, here's what I'm telling you. Most of us do this. We complete our education, we get a job, maybe not in this order, but complete our education, get a job, get married, have a family, retire, then die. Never realizing our dreams, never really living our best life ever, never really doing anything that we really thought we would do as a youngster. What happened? Well, I can tell you, they got busy, comfortable. They got busy, comfortable, and they settled. I don't believe in settling. Don't believe it. Don't like it. Won't do it. Not going to do it. But that's what happens to many of us. We do those things and we get to a comfortable place. We have mortgages. We've got car payments. We got kids' tuition, and we just kind of stuck in where we are. Now, is that your best life? I mean, are you just going with the flow, or do you have a retirement plan, or what's going on in your world? I mean, you can shift gears anytime you want. It's just a matter of, do you want? When you always do what's easy, your life will be hard. When you always do what's hard, your life will be easier. I didn't say easy. It'll be easier. Do the hard things first. I mean, what's your ultimate goal in your life? What's your dream? It's still possible. I don't care where you're at in your life right now. You can still manage to live your best life and to acquire your dream. I mean, do you find yourself frustrated from day to day? Are you discouraged? Do you try to get through the day instead of getting something from the day? I just like to know where your mentality is. If we had time to sit down together one-on-one and talk, we could figure this out, where you are and where you want to be and how you're going to get there. Somewhere along our lives, we accept something that's really not meant for us, but we accept it because it's the easy way out. And I'm telling you that it's just not meant to be. Nothing happens just because of happenstance. It's because of something we did or something we didn't do. I mean, all of us get frustrated from time to time. Life is hard. It's overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be that overwhelming. Your enemy's number one target is your mind. The enemy's going to attack you in your mind. You could be your own worst enemy in your mind. So what do we do? How do we do it? Well, I'm on a distraction binge right now. I'm trying to get rid of all distractions out of my life. Now, it's not going to be possible to get rid of all distractions. I can't control what the people are going to do and say around me, but how I respond to it and how I react to it can make a big difference in my life. So I'm going to cut out distractions in 2022. I mean, how much of your day is spent reactive? How much of your day is spent just reacting to what's going on? How much of your day is spent with little or no planning? You're so used to running on autopilot that you don't want to do anything different. Artificial intelligence is taking over our world, and we're losing the ability to think. I want to try to think of myself the way I want to be and the way I'm going to be, not the way I am. If I can rise to the occasion, if I can raise the standard, I'm in charge. If I can raise my standard of what I'm willing to accept in my life, it can change my life conditions. Human beings will follow through on who they think they are. How do you define yourself? When did you define yourself? And when did you decide what you can and can't do? Somewhere in our lives, we made those decisions. We defined ourselves as being A. We allowed others to define ourselves as being B. And we made decisions that we can't do that, or I can never do that, or we tell ourselves we can't. And that's the end all. If you say you can't, you can't. But if you say you can, you can. Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Thinking is so important. I try to get my groups and the ones I'm doing the coaching with, I'm trying to get them to do one thing, to make a game changer goal, to make a hairy, audacious goal, a BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal, just a game changer. One thing, just one thing that would change everything in their life. When I travel speaking to organizations of all sizes, I encourage audience members to pick one goal that they're going to try to compete and make it a game changer goal, both personally or professionally, either one. The goal will completely change the trajectory of their lives when they achieve it. Something that's big, something that's huge. It's okay to be big because you're going to do small baby steps to get there. When you have a goal, you know exactly where you're trying to go. You're awake. You're focused. Your energy's going there. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So most people don't even have goals. They just trying to get through the day instead of getting through it. Where your focus goes, energy flows. What we focus on feels so much real in the moment when you're focused on it, painfully or not. Where are you focused at these days? What are you focused on? Are you focused on where you want to be and where you really want to go? Or are you just focused on getting through the day? It's our questions that direct our focus. You know, you start thinking about your life and where you want to really be and what you really want to do. And you want to live a life with intensity and you want to really have a best year ever. All these things, you got to start asking some good quality questions because it will get you to good quality answers. What are you focused on right now? I'm going to give you 6 human needs. And here's what I've discovered over the last few years. And this is going to be the end of it. It's a short one. 6 human needs. These are fundamental human needs. These aren't something I come up with. These are something that is real life experience. It's not academic theory. It's not that it might work. It will work. It is true. And most of us try to get 2 of these 6 things. Let me give them to you. 6 human needs. Number 1 is certainty. Assurance you can avoid pain and gain pleasure. People want certainty. They want to know what they're certain of in life. If I ask you to take a piece of paper and write down the word certain, and underneath it put everything that you're certain of, it wouldn't be a big list. Because there's certain things are just, they're not there. We're not certain enough of what we really want. That's the problem. What are you really certain of in your life? Number 2, uncertainty. We need variety. We need some uncertainty. We can make a list of uncertainty a lot better than we can make a list of certainty. So we have a lot of variety in our lives. The problem is we're not focused on certain things. And that's where the problem comes around. Number 3, significance. That we feel unique, important, special, needed. You are special. You are needed. You're just maybe not living out your purpose. And that's why you don't feel that you're accomplishing what you need to accomplish. So number 1 was certainty. Number 2 is uncertainty. Number 3 is significance. Number 4 is connection. I added the word love on it. A strong feeling of closeness, a union with someone or something, a sense of belonging. We all want to have a sense of belonging. We want to belong to a club, to a group, to a family. We all want that. We got to have it. We crave it. It's a human need. Number 5, growth. An expansion of capacity, a capability of understanding, growing, needing, knowing. You know, I was caught in a snowstorm this past month in January, and there was no other way to get around it. And I was stuck on the interstate, and tractor trailers had crashed, and they were just taking up all the interstate, and nobody was moving. And I saw a road that said number 109, Highway 109. And it would take me a long way around, but it would take me to my house. So I got off of it and I got on that little 109. And even though I was only moving 30 or 40 miles an hour, I was moving. I was advancing. I was progressing. I felt good about it. I was not standing still. I was going and progressing. That's what we're talking about. We want to grow. We want to progress. We want to get a little bit better. And the last one, number 6, is contribution. We all have a sense of service. We want to be more, give more, do more. We want to focus on helping others. We want to give. We want to be generous. We want to support others. Which of these two are really valuable to you? What are the most valuable things to you right now? Which one of these two do you need to have in your life right now? These human needs. Is it certainty? Is it uncertainty? Is it significance? Is it connection? Is it growth? Is it contribution? Find out where these things are. They will change your mindset. They will improve your life conditions. If you can accomplish 2, you can accomplish 3. And maybe before we know it, you can get all 6 of the human needs, because we all need to grow. We need to be better. We need to be certain of things. We need to have some variety in our lives, but we need to be a part of something that we feel loved and feel that we belong. I'm Don Day Speaks with Don Day Speaks podcast, and I would love to see you again real soon. We do these every Monday. See you then.